Okay, Jared, you can turn to the screen now. We have Judah Sandhy with us, Jared's brother.
Wow. Awesome.
Hey Fred, surprise.
Hey Ren. This is so cool.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you, Judah, for joining us. How are you?
Sure, it's my pleasure. I'm fine, Sharon. How about you?
I'm doing well by God's grace. Thank you. So, Judah, how are you guys in childhood? Can you share an unforgettable moment you had with Jared?
There are so many, but during childhood, I think I was more of a clown. And Jared was always very disciplined. I would see him very straightforward with things. And Jared always got what he wanted. And he was also very talented right from the beginning. I think that evolved over the years for him. And there are so many, so.
Okay, what is the naughtiest thing you guys have done it together?
Naughtiest, huh? We would imitate a lot of people. Jared is very good at that. And
sorry, can you repeat it, please?
We would imitate a lot of people.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Jared is extremely good at that, and the whole family loves him for that.
Nalla time pass aagum. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Jared, why don't you imitate your brother?
That's a tough one, Sharon.
Okay. So, actually, Judah, Jared, we were talking. Actually, I had few questions for him, and he was answering for all those. So he was talking about you. Actually, from the beginning, I think almost 5 questions we have covered. All the 5 questions you were there. Actually, Judah was there in all the questions. Yeah. Yeah. So, Judah, what is the strength of Jared?
The whole country knows his strength. There's nothing that I can elaborate more on. But apart from music, he's very caring. He's absolutely very sensitive. And apart from drumming, he's equally as good in any other instrument that he ventures into, music production. And he's always loved to learn a lot of new things, be it music production, pre, post. And I think his biggest strength is him being Jared. So, yeah.
Thank you for sharing it. என்ன Jared ரொம்ப சைலண்டா இருக்கீங்க அண்ணா பேசுறது
just surprised, super happy that he is with us.
How cool is that?
Okay, that's nice. Can you tell us, Judah, can you tell us 3 qualities which only Jared has?
With only Jared, huh? Like I said, I think the first thing is he's the most caring. He cares a lot for his loved ones. And second, I haven't seen another drummer like him. I haven't come across a drummer who's that versatile, not only in one particular genre, but be it gospel, be it film, be it rock, be whatever. He's very adaptive to that particular style. And same as it is with music, he articulates that same thing in his life as well, with his friends and family. Smart guy. And yeah.
Okay, that's nice to hear. Thank you. So, Jared,
Yeah, Sharon.
இது ஷாக் ஆகி உட்கார்ந்த மாதிரியே இருக்கு.
இல்ல இல்ல I'm the thing is he's being too kind.
அப்படியா?
In everything he said, he's king. I'll tell you, he's been big inspiration to me from the start. Definitely, I'm not just saying that because he's my brother, but like I said, for the reason that I'm doing it from the beginning has been because of his encouragement. If he never asked me to play that show,
Right.
uh, that day with 6 hours of practice, I wouldn't have done this.
True.
So, and when you speak of talent, when you speak of the abilities that he was saying, um, he's super anointed, super blessed. Um, he can play and do anything in music. That's something that I've seen with him in any field, any genre of music. So, and I like to learn, I like to watch, I like to adapt from people like him. So he's being very kind, but it's very encouraging.
Yeah.
Sharon, very honest observation over the past few years, because with the heavy church influence in our lives, playing at church has helped us a lot to evolve over the years in the field of music. Um, be it in playing by sync or understanding the feel of particular songs. And Dad Appa Vandu, he's been a very big inspiration and influence to us. So we both see a lot of him in us. And
Absolutely.
and we've also had this habit over the years of exchanging appreciation between the three of us in the family. Amma is also a great singer. Amma is our biggest fan. Her top fan is our dad. And then, so we've always developed this habit of appreciating each other. So
really needed, and that is needed actually.
yeah.
100%.
So
Yeah.
and be it with my work, there are few people in my field where I take opinions from, and Jared stands number one in that. Dad, and then a couple of few friends who we feel freedom in sharing our work, and vice versa. Getting opinions and seeing how better we can go forward. So that kind of a healthy relationship helps us to take things forward musically.
Excellent. Yeah. So actually, Judah, he was telling me initially, and I think first or second question when I was asking him. So he was telling about the event. No, I asked him, why did you pick? How did you pick up music, and why drumming? Why as a drummer? So for that, he gave me he was answering for it, but he told me a testimony. So
Wow.
yeah, so and it is all happened only because of you. So நீங்க அன்னைக்கு அவர் அந்த ஈவென்ட்டுக்கு கூப்பிடலன்னா இது இந்த நாள் இன்னைக்கு எப்படி இருந்திருப்பாரு தெரியல. So he was so happy and proud about it actually. உங்களை பத்தி தான் he was talking.
Likewise, Fred. I call him Freddy. That's how we call him at home. Jared Renfred. So his second name is. So that's how we call him. So if I say Fred,
Jared Freddy.
Jared Renfred Sandhy. Renfred, we call him short as Freddy. Fred.
Okay. Okay, Freddy. All right. So
Jared was already prepared to hit that road in life, So I clearly know that to where he is now, from the time he started, the surface was really clean. That all that good talent and everything that flew in was basically what our families have been praying for. That we have been blessed. It's utter grace that we carry that musicianship in us. So Jared would have definitely hit that road even without that opportunity. I'm guessing he spoke about a show at Cathedrals.
Correct. Yeah. Cathedral College in Bangalore.
And in fact, he was the highlight of that show just because while we were performing, the current went off, the power went off. I'm sorry. So then the only instrument that could be heard without any connections is obviously the drums. So, and Jared started a beat. And I think for the first time, a crowd like that heard a very local beat from South India. He put together that and he started playing and he got everyone's attention, everyone from the stalls. And, you can imagine the whole crowd just coming together. And exactly when the power came back on, from that beat, we had a transition to our song. And when the lights came on and when everything shot up, it was really good. And he was the catch of that show. So he was a born entertainer.
Yes.
Thank you, Ren. Thank you. I call him Rennie too. Beatler, this is the name. These are the names that we were
Rennie
brought
and
up with.
Rennie. Okay.
Yeah, because his middle name is Renault. Judah Renault Sandhy. So, Angand, we derived Rennie.
Nice. Thank you for sharing, Judah. Nariya Vishangal, we don't know actually what has happened, how God has brought him in the Nalk. So, and we heard few from Jared and few from you as well. So, that's nice to know. So, Judah, what you would like to tell to Jared right this moment? I know as a brother, you would have told him, நிறைய விஷயங்கள் சொல்லிருப்பீங்க, share பண்ணிருப்பீங்க, advice பண்ணிருப்பீங்க, suggestions கொடுத்திருப்பீங்க. But this moment, what you would like to tell him?
After many days, after many months, we as a family got together for a trip to Nellore 3 days ago for a church inauguration. And so the four of us, mom, dad, Jared, and myself, got together. We had a beautiful experience. We left on Sunday from Bangalore. We reached Nellore. We got back this Wednesday. So it was very overwhelming for me because it felt like back in the day. And right now, I want to say that I'm very grateful in my life to have him. And if not for all those experiences in life, I wouldn't know the worth to say thank you to him. So I expect more of this love and journey to carry us forward in life. So I basically want to be grateful and thankful to him.
Yeah, emotional.
Okay. Thank you, Ren. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Jared, it's your time now. So what you would like to tell to
Judah?
Yeah.
I think he hit the nail on its head. For me, just being around people like him, my dad, itself is a blessing. It's been very inspiring because half the time when we sit together, the three of us, especially with mom, we only speak music. There's hardly any other conversation. It's all about music. It's learning stuff. And without those conversations, I wouldn't have been able to even push myself to do anything, to be inspired to do anything in music. So I think God has really blessed me with people like him and dad, and especially Rennie, because he is super talented. He is fresh every single time I meet him, with ideas, with matters regarding life, with thought, with action, and he just keeps me thinking, and that's a really good thing to have, especially as a brother, and to be able to get that through that friendship. I look at him as a very good friend as well. Most families, you only caught up with siblings for brotherly or sibling circumstances, but with him, I could share anything, and I'm really gifted to have that relationship. So yeah, what I'd like to tell him is keep inspiring me. Keep inspiring people like us. Be the best at what you do, as always. Thanks for that. Continue to do what you're doing.
Thank you.
Okay. So, Judah, you being here with us today, and we all know you are a great musician. So, would you like to give some tips or ideas for the upcoming musicians who are really struggling to come to the limelight?
Okay. Stay positive. Um, Work on your skills, and just don't give up. I think if you follow these three main objectives, you can overcome whatever's stopping you from moving forward. And yeah, that's about it. Being focused and disciplining yourself matters a lot. So, and don't, the time when you lose hope is when things don't work out. The number of times things don't work out adds up as a testimony in the future when something works out for you. So when you reach the point where something really works out for you, you can share that as a testimony. You have enough experience to tell the people that you failed so many times trying. So being focused matters a lot. Disciplining covers practice, working on your skill, and not losing hope means being positive.
Yeah, that's encouraging. Thank you very much, Judah, for sparing your time with us. It was fun, and thoughts you shared was really encouraging. And Judah, let's meet up in a separate interactions here soon.
Sure. It will be my pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye, Fred.
Thank you, and bye.
Bye. Good night.
Jared, you played with different bands, right? And what was your first band and how it all started? And also tell us about your experience with working with other bands. You also played with a band from the USA, and you did a tour there, is it? Can you take us through?
Yeah, surely. So the first band, as I mentioned earlier, was Slain. It's a Christian progressive rock band from India, from Bangalore. I started off playing with Slain in the year 2005 professionally, which means we were out there to perform and headline, and also we were competing at semi-pro and pro level competitions, and including college, IITs, music festivals, and things like this. So it started off with my brother and a few friends from college that we met. And then eventually we had about 3-4 different lineups till we found the perfect fit, which is the current band that exists without me and my brother. But yeah, we went on to perform and play music, and we recorded our own album, which is still available. It's on every digital platform available for streaming, and I think you can also buy a physical copy from the band's website. So that started off as my first band, and through that it led me eventually to be able to play for other artists simultaneously. I did a few sessions before I could even do gospel Christian exclusively as contemporary Christian gospel sessions. I played for a few international artists that came down as a session artist for them. One of which was an American Idol by the name Sean Mitchell. He is from Nashville. So when he came to do an India tour, I went on board to play the drums along with other phenomenal musicians in Bangalore. So we did about 2 to 3 different cities here in India. That gave me a little different exposure from the rock music that I was playing with Slain. And then I also had the opportunity to play drums for the Bangalore ensemble that led worship at the Benny Hinn concert in Bangalore, which was a very different experience. That was alongside the choir by the name Glorious. Although there was a very interesting thing that happened there. I was on stage and I was supposed to play 2 songs, and then we were sharing turns. So there was another drummer, and he was being very generous to make me play for the third, and I couldn't keep up to the song. I wasn't really sure of the song and technicality of that music, and so I miserably failed on such a big stage.
Oh my God.
And I think there were close to 100,000 people, and it was very embarrassing and scary for me. So when that happened, came backstage, I was literally in tears because of what I had done. And I, mentally slapped myself a couple of times to go back home and actually start practicing, really start putting in time to learn, to equip myself to be able to do that. So that was briefly around the session and band stuff that I was doing. In fact, the Benny Hinn thing was a little before Slain got busy. I was playing in Slain, but not as efficiently as what we started playing as a band. We were playing very busy around the time of 2008 to 2009. We had a lot of shows. But so Benny Hinn would have probably happened a little earlier than that, 2006, 2007. So then, due to reasons, we disbanded. Ideally, it was because both me and Jura wanted to explore a little more on the musical field. So we left the band, and I started playing for Christian gospel events. And my first ever gospel event was Alive 2013, exclusively as a gospel event, where I played for Pastor Joss in Edinburgh. So at that time, because of what I could achieve with Slain, I had reached out to companies and that could possibly, endorse and send me a few of their equipment for me to be able to use as an ambassador. And a couple of my friends from India were very grateful and helpful with that matter, and they helped me sign up to a brand by the name D Drum, which is Dean Drum. They're based out of California in the United States. So they looked at my profile, they saw my playing ability and what I had achieved already with the awards that I had won for best drummer at different events and things like that, and was willing to send me a kit for free. That was officially my first endorsement. And they sent me a beautiful drum kit, which I still own, which is very dear to me. And I really enjoyed very much, So on the kit to the pergu, I was super happy that I got this, and I started putting out YouTube videos, just playing to my favorite tunes, putting out songs. Once that happened, the artist rep, the person that is in charge with the artists from D Drum, he had spoken to me and said, "Hey, listen, you're putting out some really good stuff. I really like the way you play. Why don't you take up an audition?" There's an audition here in the US where there's a guitar player by the name Rusty Cooley, based out of Houston, that's wanting to get a drummer for his band and his personal project, his solo music that he's doing. I was like, yeah, whatever. That name was actually very familiar. School, we had listened to different guitar educators. We had like a CD that we used to, press and copy and share with our friends. So on the timeline, there was a CD with instructional videos of this guy but it didn't click in my head at that time. I had already watched his videos. It would open up as a small widget on your Windows computer, Lingla. Like, I don't know if you remember, like back then. And whatever disk you put, there'll be a track list that you select and learn each class. So then he kept sending me an email and saying, listen, I think you'd really be able to do this. I was like, yeah, okay, cool. I'd give this a shot. I wasn't even keen on it because I'm from Bangalore in India, and the easier option would be for them to audition drummers back there and be able to take someone from the country in itself. So I did that. I sent my stuff. A week later, I got an email from Rusty, the guitar player that was looking for this. He's a guitar virtuoso. He is known to be one of the fastest guitar players in the world. And he's an educator to many big guitarists that play in different big bands that we have heard of. So I sent him the stuff. He got back and said, hey, listen, can we get on Skype? Can you get on a call on Skype? I said, sure, why not? Like, it would be nice to connect with someone of that status, that caliber. Got on Skype, and the first question he asked me is, how and when can you get yourself down to the United States? So I was like, very, blank. I didn't know what to say. Because there's too many things running in my head, right? Like, there's paperwork, there's, is this really what I want to do? What about the music? Is it very complex? Is it very challenging? So what I sent him was, so the audition was part of 2 stages. One was they sent me 2 tracks of their existing songs that I had to listen and play and send a video with no edits, just a live recording of my playing and send it back. Adu mudicha piragi, he had sent me a track that is not finished. It's just a guitar track with no drums, and he said, I need to see what you're capable of coming up with. So after that is when the Skype thing happened. I apologize for not being in order. Is it okay if I say it in a different order? Is that fine? I'm just asking.
Yeah. No worries. From there you're coming, US.
Yeah.
And now you're going.
Yeah. So then what happened was I sent him the stuff with the song. I put in my ideas. So that was the first question he asked me when I got on video call. He said, when could you come over? I said, see, I really don't know. So he said, let's work on your paperwork. Let's get on that immediately because I really like the way you play. They had auditioned over 30 drummers in the US, some of which have been bigger names that was confidential at that time. They never really put it out because of who they are in the music industry. And one of which was a drummer that I followed a lot because he was also a drum educator in MI University, which is the Musicians Institute, right? The music school. So I was surprised why he's asking me. And then he said that, I think one of the things that really impressed me in your playing was when I sent you the track without the drums, because everybody could play what was already there. Those two songs, everyone played well, but the stuff that you sent me on the song that was incomplete was exactly what I had in mind, and the way you replicated it. And I was super happy to hear that appreciation from him. And I told him that that's great to know. And finally, I worked on the paperwork, went there, met him. We had about 2 weeks of just trial and error, just beta test of the songs. Started playing shows. We did quite some shows in North America. Had the opportunity to share stage with the other bigger bands that I really look up to. We went on a few shows there, did a few tours with them. Played on one extended player, one EP, and also recorded a full-length album. And after that, so that was from roughly from mid 2015 to 2018. So about 3 years in and out of the country. I learned a lot of stuff, to be honest. So while I was there playing with the band, um, a couple of music producers had approached me. And thankfully that happened because when we recorded our album in 2017, in the beginning of 2017, there was a producer who was mixing our album, and he calls my singer who was in touch with him and asks him who
Your
played the drums.
album, what is that? Can you tell me?
The album with the band Day of Reckoning.
Okay. You
Yeah.
did along with the US
US band.
band.
Yeah, the guitar player.
Got it.
So the band's name is Day of Reckoning, and we recorded the album, and the singer was in touch with the engineer. So the mixing engineer was a producer, and he asked the singer who played the drums. That was his question, and my singer was like, "It's Jared, a guy from India." And he laughed. The producer laughed and said, "Hey, come on, stop kidding. Tell me who played the drums." And he's like, "I'm not kidding. This guy is from India. He's come to play for us, and he's been playing for a while. Like, I need to meet this guy." So he set up a meeting, and I finally went and met this producer. The producer by the name Dean Dichoso. He is half Italian, half Filipino, first gen American. So a lot of cultures, but top 10 producers in LA. One of the top 10 producers. He's produced a lot of big bands, worked on very big names in rock and metal. So quite a guy, knows what he's doing, 25 years of experience. Been on several red carpets, won many awards. I'm nervous when I met him. So he sat me down, and I was in his backyard in his house. So I'm going to porch Madhi with 2 tables. He brought me a drink, and we sat there, and we were sitting and having a conversation. And he was like, first question he asked me is like, if I put you on stage with such and such a band, would you play? Would you play the drums? And I said, yeah, I could. Abdir the answer. And he said, see, listen, it's either going to be a yes or no from me. So, Andamadi pressure potopo, I said, yeah, sure, I'll do it. Because of my confidence, I just said, yeah, I'll do it.
Very good.
And then we got talking, and he told me, he said, see, I'm not kidding, but if you stick around in the US for another 10 years, you'll wipe out every drummer that I have worked with. And that was just the biggest compliment I could ever possibly get, coming from a man like him. And he was super encourative, put me on to many sessions. I had the opportunity to go to Nashville, record for different country artists. Also played on a couple of American Idol artists' songs as a session drummer. And also was very encouraging to take me on board as an assistant engineer on most of his projects. So being in an actual studio, learning stuff from him, I could say he's been like a mentor to me, and that happened for a year. Like, I was in and out of a studio every other day, and so much of knowledge, meeting so many different people, the connections I made, artists. And so then I really prayed, and I said, God, what do you want me to do? And I could clearly hear the voice telling me, if I brought you here, I'm the one which will take you through. So on the, Arudal and all of that, I found that peace. I never really felt bad about it. I came back. A lot of my musician friends, I'm actually probably saying it in a very polite way. But my musician friends here locally in Bangalore and around were like, I think you're really stupid. I think you made a very dumb decision. I said, I don't. I have no regrets.
But now you're settled, you're married. Yeah.
I'm married.
Why don't you? Why don't you take your family there? Like,
Hopefully, like I said, if God got that opportunity for me, He will take me through. I'm not really jumping in or being hasty, because every single one of them there who work with me would love to have me there. So let's see. Maybe my next time I talk to you could be possibly
from US.
yeah, maybe I don't know. But when I came back, I felt at home again. Like, it wasn't that 3 years when I was away, I didn't work here. So it's nice to be in both places and create music, global atmosphere. Um, and yeah, so that was the US journey. I can give you a little more about that as we go. But then I also started a band right after Slane, after I left Slane. And that was also a Christian band that still exists. In 2010 is when we started it. I was a founding member with another friend by the name Joseph. Both of us started the band. It's a Christian metal band. So up my game from rock, we started playing a little more heavier music. And we were lucky enough to be signed to an American record label in the year 2013. So our music is being played in the radios there, and in Canada and South America. And our music is also available on all platforms to listen. So that band actually really was the reason for me to technically improve my drumming skills. What I was playing with Slane was good, but when I moved on to playing metal, I had to up my A game in terms of learning different.
That band name, the band you're talking about?
The band's name is Final Surrender.
Okay.
Final Surrender. So we guys haven't been as active, but we played quite a lot of shows, and we are in the works to doing a tour internationally. It's been in line for at least 2 years now. A lot of people in South America and the US know us, so they've been wanting us to come over and do a few shows there. Hopefully that'll work. In the middle of that, in the year 2014, I got in touch with my friend who's a guitar tutor and plays for many bands in LA. His name is Josh Seguin. And we formed the band Mute the Saint with the instrumentalist, the sitarist from Delhi. So we put out an album there again. Never actually performed live. The band never performed live because we did the whole thing from wherever we were. I was in the US. I was in Houston. Josh was in LA. Rishabh, the sitar player, was in Delhi. We all exchanged ideas on Skype and did the album. It released on a very big magazine called Metal Injection. They were kind enough to release it. The band is just, it's on hiatus at the moment. Hopefully someday we can bring it together.
Yes.
That was Mute the Saint. And then I played a few sessions here in Bangalore for a couple of other bands, secular bands, and I play for a rapper by the name Brother V. He's a secular artist as well. So there are different artists, different genres, different worlds I move on in music. And I also play for commercial acts, Bollywood and different singers and stuff now and then. But I can tell you, in all of this, the most fun I've had is actually Christian gospel music. And I'm not just saying that because, we are talking in a Christian platform or anything. My brother actually mentioned that earlier, saying that, going back to our church opening was very memorable. We guys actually started playing that music in church, and to the point where when we used to play, we never used to look at each other, but the dynamics would be perfectly equal. Whenever he went soft, I would go soft. So there was this connection without our knowledge in Christian music. So I can mention a few names, actually, a big blessing to our Christian world and a blessing to me. Really, really a privilege to call them friends and brothers like Keba, Isaac, JP. Uh, they are my hood. Like when I go to Chennai, there's not a single time we haven't caught up on roadside chai or just having conversations, eating good food, being able to do this, because I'm sure you would have spoken to most of them. They come from journeys that are very similar, where uh, music changed lives and they wanted to take this up and do it very seriously. And today they are inspiring people around. And, I was so happy. In 2013, actually, at Pastor Jerson's Alive DVD concert, is when I met them again. I had met them prior when we were playing with Slain, because Keba had a band called Wash Clothes.
No.
And we used to play a lot of shows together. We used to bump into each other at different shows. And it was really cool to come back in 2013 and see the same person in a Christian band outfit. And we played that show together. And then the connection started, actually, where we started playing on recordings and different worship leaders would call us and we would all play. And I'm really happy because these people have definitely been key in the music world, in the Christian gospel music industry here. Again, I would say, like, we are all humbled. I can talk on behalf of them again. I can say that we are all humbled in this journey. There's never been that thought to say, "Nambo madri yaro illa," and the madri thought. That has never been there. The most sweet guys that I hang out with, and very, very inspiring, hardworking. So that was briefly how my journey went on. If there are any specifics, we could speak.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
that's really nice to know about your journey.
Thank you, Sharon.
So you play very heavy for rock bands, and when it comes to worship, you are equally soothing. How to manage this blend? Any secret which our viewers can know?
Yeah, Kandipa. The thing is,